Tonight on Countdown to Signing Day, National Signing Day has come. This is the day where commitments become signees. The USA Today National Player of the Year, quarterback Brian Brohm, will join us in studio. He'll tell us why it is so important to stay home and sign with Louisville.
I've been a Louisville fan pretty much all my life, and that's really where my heart is.
Hawkinsville, Georgia native Charles Johnson also decided to stay home and sign with the Georgia Bulldogs. How does the nation's best defensive end feel about coming to Athens?
When I go to Georgia, that's all you hear is they say you playing beside David Pollock and you trying to get up there. And I mean, I love to play right beside him. I think that'll be two dominating players.
We'll also hear from some of the coaches that scored big this recruiting season.
You get the majority of your great players in your state, then you're going to have a chance to do well.
Plus,
you got different groups of fans. This group might be saying UM, the other group might be saying FSU. So it's a lot of pressure.
The South's #1 recruit is signed with Miami. Linebacker Willie Williams joins us in studio tonight to talk about his decision. And All-South defensive back Tony Carter has made the trip to our studio in Atlanta to sign his letter of intent. It's down to Florida State, Tennessee, North Carolina, and USC. Who will it be? The Countdown to Signing Day National Signing Day Special is next.
Well, this is the day we've all been waiting for, National Signing Day. Welcome to this special 90-minute edition of Countdown to Signing Day. This is the day top prospects from all over the country sign their national letters of intent. You can follow the ticker at the bottom of your screen for all the latest signings and information tonight throughout the night on your favorite players and teams. I'm Corey Kessler, along with the hardest-working recruiting analyst in the business, Jamie Newberg. Jamie, we have finally made it. The top talent in the country for the past 4 months. We've been following them. Now we know where they have signed on. The day has finally arrived.
Yes, it has. And I tell you what, this is my 12th season, my 12th signing day with Countdown to Signing Day. And this has been the craziest year, the craziest day I can remember. So let's get this party started.
All right, let's get it rocking and rolling, Jamie. Let's get right to the biggest news of the day. Willie Williams, the top linebacker in America, as you see, and the #1 rated player in the South, made his decision this morning.
Yes, he did. Miami over FSU. Big get for the Canes as they had a monster day. Willie leading the way and an absolutely fabulous player. And guess what? We get to talk to him later on in the show.
Yes, we do. Can't wait for that interview. And everyone at Georgia, Florida State, and Georgia Tech has been waiting to hear from the country's best all-around athlete, Brandon Miller. And he finally made his decision, right, Jamie?
Yeah, about an hour ago. Signs with Georgia over FSU and Georgia Tech. And I think this was a little bit closer than people thought.
All right, Jamie, what about other big guns who hadn't made a decision until today?
Well, I tell you what, there's about 50 uncommitted players as of this morning, but you got to look at this group right here. Demario Presley stays home. NC State over UNC and FSU. Brent Schaefer says no to NC State. He's going to Tennessee. And Tony Bell, Auburn over Georgia.
All right, Jamie, well, how about this? We got all these guys coming. Mike McIntosh, some of these guys, Sunshine State signees.
Yeah, obviously, McIntosh was committed to Clemson but signs with Florida. J.R. Bryant was committed to Miami, signs with FSU. And Ingram announced today at noon, Florida over South Florida.
All right, Jamie, we've just signed on. There's much more to share, including a live interview with the USA Today's Player of the Year, Brian Brohm. Don't go anywhere. The special continues.
Coming up. With all of the great quarterback prospects, only one was voted USA Today Player of the Year. It's Brian Brohm, and he's signed with his hometown Louisville Cardinals. He'll join us in studio next.
Well, Corey and Jamie, I'm standing here with the newest member of the Gator Nation, and as you can tell by his tie and his hat, he's pretty fired up. Michael, let's talk a little bit about your process. Obviously, it was well documented. You originally said you wanted to go to Georgia, and then you changed your mind to Florida. Tell us why.
It was just a gut feeling, you know, where I can really see myself in 4 to 5 years, and, you know, I felt that I'd be at home in Florida.
Great. Well, congratulations. Good luck next year down in Gainesville. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Tommy, for the Michael Brown update. You know, it's not every day you come across a football player who passes for over 10,000 yards in his high school career. But then again, not everyone is as good as Louisville's Brian Brohm. Named the USA Today Player of the Year, Brohm threw 118 touchdowns in his career. In fact, he threw 47 touchdowns and only 1 interception his junior season. We picked one off and landed the star quarterback live for an exclusive interview here at Countdown to Saturday. Brian, thanks for joining us. How does it feel to be here?
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Amazing honor. The USA Today Player of the Year. How does that feel?
It feels great. There's a lot of great players out there, and it's just honored to be mentioned as the Player of the Year when there's so many good ones to pick from.
Well, the critics, you know, have their description of your game. Obviously, it's a pretty stellar description. How would you describe your play as a quarterback?
I would say I'm a pretty good drop-back passer who is very accurate and is good at moving the team down the field and not having too many incompletions.
And I think I could also add to that you're a good decision-maker out there. I mean, look at the numbers. Those are Marino-like numbers in just a short high school career. And I got to ask you, 47 touchdowns, 1 pick your junior year. What happened on the interception? Getting greedy?
Yeah, I got a little greedy. It was raining and tried to throw a 60-yard bomb, and the ball just kind of slipped out of my hand, and I had that 1 pick.
Now let's talk about the Cardinals. Obviously, you decided to stay home. Some family ties. Your dad played there. Both your brothers played there, and now your brother will be your coach. How much pressure on it was for you to stay home, or did they kind of just give you the freedom just to want to do what you want?
They kind of gave me the freedom, and my brother, you know, he helped me out more as a brother than as a recruiter, and he gave me advice on all the schools, and once it came down to it, I picked Louisville.
What were some of the factors, the deciding factors for the Cardinals?
I like their style of offense. Coach Petrino's put in a great offense, and I think they're a rising program moving into the Big East, and hopefully we can be able to compete for the Big East championship probably the first year in it.
Now, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Kentucky, those are pretty much the 4 you looked at for a good period of time. How difficult did you have to wrestle with that decision?
It was very difficult. Every team was #1 on my list at some point, and I looked strongly at each school, and it was a tough decision, but Louisville was the best fit for me.
Now, you mentioned Coach Petrino. I think he's a great coach and a rising coach up the coaching ranks. What's your take on Coach, and how well do you know him so far?
I think he's a great coach, and he has installed a great offensive system that will really prepare me to go on to the next level and prepare quarterbacks to go on to the NFL. So that was a big factor, and he's just a great coach to have.
How exciting is it to come into a program that's on the rise? I mean, it's not such a dominant situation where you're going to go in and maybe have the jitters. You can come in and make an impact right away, probably.
Oh, that's very exciting. To try to come in and do some things at Louisville that's never been done before, like go to a BCS Bowl and hopefully one day play for a national championship. You know, it's just a great situation for me to go into.
No, obviously there's going to be some pressure there because you're Brian Brohm, all the accolades and the records, the yards, and all that stuff. I did an article on SI.com kind of saying you could be the Phillip Rivers of Louisville, kind of taking them to the next level. How exciting is that for you, knowing that you could really make a mark at that program?
Oh, it's very exciting because I know I can come in and hopefully make a big impact on Louisville and try to push them over that edge and try to get them to the next level.
Has it been easy for you to stay grounded with so many relatives having played the sport and having gone on to the NFL to keep your level head about you?
I think so. With a brother who played in the NFL, you know, he keeps my head down, and he said, look, I've already done that before, so it's not a big deal, and it just keeps me grounded.
Now, I think it's huge in the respect that last year at this time we were talking about Michael Bush signing with Louisville on signing day, one of the nation's top players, and I know you know Mike very well. You guys played against each other. Now you go there, the state's top prospect and one of the best players in the country. I mean, to be a great program, you got to go out and recruit guys like that. How exciting is it for you to possibly be playing alongside Mike and maybe throwing some touchdowns?
Oh, it's very exciting. He's a great athlete. They can really do anything on the football field, and you know, it's great that he's staying in Louisville, and it'll be a pleasure to play with him.
This whole process, was it exciting? I know we talked about it, we touched upon it earlier, but the #1 player in the country, the USA Today, you're going to go play quarterback at Louisville. How excited are you right now? I mean, this is your time. This is your year. This is your time. How do you feel right now?
Oh, I'm very excited. I just can't wait to get out there and start working with the team and get that first game in.
All right, well, we know you throw the ball, but how good are your hands?
They're okay.
Before you leave the set, you must catch the ball, and then you have to sign it.
All right.
Well, hey, congratulations.
Way to go.
For the Louisville Cardinals, obviously a great get for that program. And
Peyton Manning signed that ball. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jamie.
Nothing but
Brock
great
Berlin signed that ball, and now Brian Brohm.
That's great.
I wish you nothing but much success at Louisville. Congratulations.
All right. You go.
Okay, I'm going first. All right, there, Jamie. All right, thanks a lot. All right, Brian, we appreciate it. We know Brian will play for Louisville, but no one knows where Jacksonville's star cornerback Tony Carter is going to play until you come back and find out next on Countdown to Signing Day.
Coming up, All-South defensive back Tony Carter has made his decision and is ready to sign his letter of intent. It's down to USC, Florida State, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Will he stay in the South, or will he be the latest edition of the Trojan class of 2004? Or is there even another school in the mix? Find out next.
The process was long, hard, and close, but, I mean, I guess I just had to choose the school. I don't know, I'm in the right school, you know what I'm saying? Next fall, I will be attending the University of North Carolina State.
Well, from one of the biggest and most dominant players in this year's class to one of the smallest and most dominant, Jacksonville quarterback Tony Carter is only 5'9" and 170 pounds. He instills fear into his opponents, so much so that quarterbacks rarely throw the ball in his direction. He still somehow got 4 interceptions anyway. We threw Tony an invitation to join us live on Countdown to Signing Day to make his commitment live right here on the show, and he's decided to take that invitation. Tony, thank you so much for being here. How does it feel to be here?
It feels great. It's an honor. Glad to be here on the show. I watch it every week, and I told my friends and family at home that one day I was going to be on the show.
That's good to know. We know you've got your stack of hats here, but I have to ask you, at 5'9" and 170 pounds, what a compliment to be named USA Today one of the players of the year. I mean, that's incredible. How did you manage that?
Well, basically, I just worked hard during the off season. That was my goal since I was a freshman, so it finally came true.
First-team All-American. Take us through a one-on-one coverage scheme for you. You're defending players that are much bigger than you. How do you shut them down?
Well, basically, I look them into the eyes and see what they're all about, and then after that, I just go for what I know.
Now, Tony, obviously, you're one of the top cover corners in America, one of the best players in the state of Florida. What's the whole recruiting process been like for you? And here you are waiting until the last day.
Well, at first it was fun, but toward the end it was kind of like, you know, nerve-wracking, a lot of pressure on you, but overall I enjoyed it.
Now, your dad played basketball at Florida State. How did he kind of help you or give you some advice about the recruiting process?
Well, basically he just told me, you know, he's been through the situation before, and he told me, you know, basically go wherever you feel most comfortable and don't worry about what everyone else says.
Now, as we can see the hats, a variety of hats from Southern Cal to Middle Tennessee State, FSU, UNC, Tennessee. How did you kind of arrive at those 5?
Well, Middle Tennessee was the first school I ever received a letter from. Southern Cal, great program. Florida State, I was born in Tallahassee. Tennessee, Coach Former, what can you say about him? And North Carolina is always a dream, childhood dream.
What's the process been like? I mean, you're one of the top covers in the country. The phones were ringing off the hook and schools offering you scholarships the whole time. What's the process been like?
Well, basically, it's been fun. It's been great. I really don't know what to say. I mean, it's an honor. I'm glad to be in my situation instead of like some other guys, you know, shuffling around, really don't know where they're going to go.
Did you find yourself waffling a little bit as we look at some video of you here in one of the summer camps? Did you find yourself waffling between schools throughout the process?
Yes, I did. Actually, first I thought I wanted to go far so I can mature more as a person. And after that, to Middle Tennessee, my head coach, I think is going to be coaching there soon, and I thought it would be great for a player to follow his coach. And it's been a great situation.
Now, we're going to get to the decision in just a second, but what's the major factor in what you're going to do and you're basing your decision?
Well, I'm basing my decision on basically where my heart is. I mean, playing time, school, I mean, all those come in a factor, but basically when it comes down to the end, where my heart is.
All right, are you ready to make your decision?
Of course.
All right, well, you've got the 5 schools, the hats in front of you. Oh. Drum roll, please.
Who's it going to be?
Middle Tennessee State,
Tennessee,
North Carolina,
Tar Heels, Trojans, Seminoles.
Seminoles. Oh, the Florida State Seminoles. Congratulations.
How good did it feel to put on that hat finally?
It feels great. That's all I can say.
Now, I got something here that Bobby Bowden wants to see real soon. Coach John Lilly down at Florida State, your letter of intent. Have at it, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Did Bobby Bowden send that to you directly, Jamie? Or did he send it to Tony?
To Tony.
Okay, just making sure.
So, bottom line, why the Noles?
Why the Noles? how could you tell Bobby Bowden no?
There you go.
What a great answer. Well, you know, we've had you sign your letter of intent. We cannot let you leave the set until you do one thing. What does he have to do, Jamie?
I'll take that. You got to sign the ball.
Got to sign the ball. Leroy, let's see.
I know he's got good hands.
Of course he does. 5 interceptions on the year right there. Not 4, he's got 5. Congratulations. You are the 4th commit live on our show here on Countdown. Congratulations. Who else we have, Jamie?
Kenny Ingram,
Yep.
Trevor Ford.
You got it.
And Aaron Jones.
Yep.
J.R. Bryant.
Yep.
Ends up at Florida State.
And we had Courtney Abbott sign the ball. He did not commit live on the show.
So Florida State getting a great secondary. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Best of luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations to you, Tony. We'll be following your career. Thanks for joining us, Tony. And next up, for most of you, will be Florida State legend Bobby Bowden, who joined us from Tallahassee to talk about his incredible recruiting class. And those of you in the Detroit, Pittsburgh, Midwest, and North regions of the country, you'll get the latest local recruiting information straight from your area. Stay tuned.
Coming up, we'll be joined by Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden to talk about this Seminole class of 2004. The Noles get many of the state of Florida's best recruits every year. But are there any big names they sign outside the Sunshine State? Find out next.
The reason why I chose, I took visits to Carolina and Carolina and A&T. All those were good, but when I went down to Florida State, I just felt like a part of the team already, and it ain't nothing like down in Florida, so.
Seminole fans always happy to see another signee, Jamal Edwards, a number of the long list to add to Bobby Bowden and the crew. It seems as if every year the Florida State Seminoles close with a flurry of late signings, propelling them to the top of the recruiting rankings, and this year is no exception. Coach Bobby Bowden, to use a basketball term, put on the full court press and got a couple of huge steals. We are now joined by Coach Bowden on the phone from Tallahassee. Coach Bowden, thanks so much for taking the time to join us here on Countdown to Signing Day.
Well, thank you. It's good to talk to you. I haven't. Has Tony Carter done anything yet?
Yes, he has, Coach. He actually just committed live on the show. We were hoping you would watch to see that, but he did commit to the Florida State Seminoles live on the show. How do you feel about that signing?
Well, I feel real good. I've been on other interviews all night. That's why I was unable to see it, and I knew he was supposed to announce at 6. So we're very happy about that.
Well, Coach, that gives you guys 4 commits on Countdown to Signing Day over the last couple of weeks. Of course, Tony, Trevor Ford, and the Edgewater kids, and Aaron and Kenny Ingram.
Yeah, we did better this year for some reason. It seems like we've always been kind of late recruiting. The reason is we don't usually get commitments very early. This year we got more and more than before. And then, of course, we always hold out for the best at the last, And, of course, the thing that scares you about that, we turned some pretty good kids loose that that said they wanted to come here because we were worried about our numbers, And but anyway, overall, I'm very pleased with it.
Well, as you look at up and down the class, you guys hit on every position. Let's talk a little bit about the quarterbacks with Drew Weatherford, Xavier Lee, 2 of the top 10 QBs in the country.
Well, that's right, and naturally the question comes, well, what are you going to do? You got 2 freshmen, and they're both all-stars, and we've had that before. We had Brad Johnson, Casey Weldon here before. We had Charlie Ward and Peter Tom Willis and some of those guys together. We've had Jimmy Jordan, Wally Woodham, and let them battle it out and fight for it, Possibly redshirt one to get a year's space in between them, and then go from there. But we're very pleased to get both of them.
Now, on the other side of the ball, Coach, you may have lost Willie Williams, but you picked up 3 terrific linebackers. Locally, Rodney Gowan. You go to South Carolina, get Lawrence Timmons, and up here in Georgia with Jay Thaxton. You got to be happy with that crew.
Well, really, because we lost 3 starting linebackers last year, but the guys behind them played a whole lot, and so we needed to replace those 3 spots, which we did, and we're very, very pleased with the young men we had.
Coach, Jamal Edwards, of course, signing with the Florida State Seminoles. I don't know if you were able to see it, but right before we came to your segment, we showed Jamal signing. How do you feel about his signing?
Is that up in Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is that where you showed it?
Yeah, we sure did, and now we're showing some video of him. How do you feel about his signing?
Oh, I feel real good. He's an amazing kid. I mean, he committed to us way back in the summer. I mean, I usually when that happens, I don't sometimes expect them to stay with their commitment, but he did, which shows a heck of a lot of maturity. And so anyway, I kept my fingers crossed on him all year because I knew there'd be a lot of pressure right there at home to stay in the state.
Well, Coach Bowden, we appreciate your time as always. And before we let you go, congratulations on the winningest college coach ever.
Well, I thank you very much, and we sure appreciate your interest.
Absolutely, always, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
See you, man.
Jamie, take a look at some of the other signees right here.
Oh, you got to love Kenny O'Neill, maybe the fastest wide receiver in the entire country out of California. Greg Carr, Lamar Lewis, Atkins Dunbar, Ford McClure. This is another solid group by Bobby Bowden.
So much more ahead. Don't go anywhere. Our special is just rolling along.
Coming up. Last year, the LSU Tigers arguably had the #1 recruiting class in the country. Could the same thing hold true this season? We'll be joined by head coach Nick Saban to get